My name is Adam Andrzejewski. I'm the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com. We're excited about today's segment of Rip-Off of the Week. We've got a lot of rip-offs for our watching audience today. So thank you for being here. You know our mission at OpenTheBooks.com. It's to post every dime online in real time. Simply summarized is that simple phrase. And last year, we filed 41,500 Freedom of Information Act requests to capture government spending. And on our website, we've got 64 million public employees with their salary and their pension records, probably right in your own backyard. So come to our website and see who's making what in what position for what unit of government. Today, we're excited about our rip-off of the week. It's called Where's the Pork? And before we get to the gory details, I want to introduce my co-host, Tamara Colbert.
That's the best introduction ever. Thanks, Adam. I'm so excited to be joining you tonight. Where's the pork? We've got the real report, full report coming out shortly, but you guys are going to get a sneak peek tonight from Adam. So Adam, give us the summary. Tell the viewers, what is the Where's the Pork report?
So in 2 weeks, when we launch this report, you're hearing it first, right here on our Facebook page. Our auditors went through 2 million grant transactions in 3 fiscal years, 17, 18, and 19. 2 of those years, Republicans had control of the House, and in the 3rd year, Nancy Pelosi had control of the purse strings. So there was $2.3 trillion of grants that we went through. What we did is we divided it by congressional district. And so, who's the biggest porker? And I have to say, pork barrel spending is bipartisan, but in the top 10 districts, top 10 congressional districts receiving the most grants in the last 3 fiscal years, here's how it breaks down. It's 8 Democrats in those seats and 2 Republicans. In the top 50 districts, it's 30 Democrats versus 20 Republicans. So on pork barrel spending, Democrats do have the advantage.
But it's still a pork barrel spending is a bipartisan issue that only we, the people, can solve. So I know, Adam, you've got some great examples. You talked about the top 50 districts, but I know you've got some really specific examples. Can you share some of those with our audience tonight?
So some of the little nuggets that we pulled out of the database, Tamara, we found Hookers for Jesus. They received a grant right there in Nevada for over $500,000. We found that $500,000 funded Georgetown University. They've got about $1.7 billion in their endowment, and they took a grant for $549,000 to develop new techniques to discover space aliens. Tai Chi for senior citizens and their senior senators, about $750,000. There was a new app created for Latinas, specific to Latinas and not the rest of us, so they could learn how to walk their neighborhood and connect with their neighbors, and that cost the United States taxpayer $1.4 million. There was $1.6 million, and this drives me absolutely crazy. The grant was to help schools begin gardening, $1.6 million. Tamara, I remember when you could grab a shovel and a hoe, a real hoe and a shovel, dig up the ground and plant your garden, and it didn't take $1 million.
No, absolutely. In 6th grade, we had a year-long project that was learning how to cultivate a garden. We had it. It was right in one of the side areas of our field. And that was the 6th grade class got the garden. And I remember we each had to bring our own seeds. It cost like 25 cents, right? For each kid to go and get their seeds and bring it. So these are just outrageous facts. I know that.
Well, when you get a government bureaucrat involved in anything, the price tends to go up. For instance, who knew that reading stories in a laundromat would cost the American taxpayer $250,000? But we funded a $250,000 grant to Libraries Without Borders to set up a nationwide laundromat reading program. Guess who was on the other side of that transaction?
Who?
George Soros, who funded that program with $1 million.
And then the taxpayers co-funded that with him. Now, last time we heard about California prostitutes. Are they in there this time?
California prostitutes. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because we found sex ed, a grant flowed into $1.4 million for California prostitutes last time. This time we found $2.1 million funded sex education for prostitutes in Ethiopia.
Oh my goodness. Adam, this is Where's the Pork? Wasteful Washington. And we thought it was, end of the year, use it or lose it spending was crazy. What can people do if they're mad and they want to vocalize their thoughts to a legislator? What do you want our folks to do?
So I think you have to call your member of Congress. Now, in our report, and this is going to be very, very helpful for everybody that wants to lift and raise their voice, we name names. We name the member of Congress where when the grant goes into the recipient, whose congressional district is it? We name names so you can hold your member accountable for those wasteful grants that flow into those districts. We elect these men and women to go to Congress to watch the federal activity in their districts. They need to be doing a better job.
Absolutely. So this report is going to be available when?
In about 2 weeks. We're going to launch this right at the end of September.
So, Adam, when we've got legislators that willy-nilly, they are literally abusing taxpayer dollars. Open the books is needed now more than ever, and especially right now as we're approaching election day, November 3rd. This is a big opportunity for we the people to speak out about, hey, it's time for fiscal responsibility and transparency. What does Open the Books say about that?
So, we highlight the Fortune 100 in this report that got $250 million worth of grants. We also make note of the fact that they spent in the last 5 years $175 million lobbying. So that's quite a return on investment just on their grants, not even considering the federal contracts they get for hundreds of billions of dollars. So we also highlight the Ivy League colleges. Now, just in the past 3 years, the endowment of the Ivy League has surpassed $140 billion for the 8 schools. It's up $20 billion in the last 3 years. The Ivy League took $10 billion worth of grants from federal agencies during that period. So, money being fungible, every single dime that came from taxpayers went into their bank account.
And so we've also, I know that you've got the Kennedy Center highlighted, the Sundance Institute, as well as the Ivy League. Tell us about those.
Well, let's just break that down a little bit. Robert Redford, the iconic Hollywood actor, he's got the Sundance Institute. And the Sundance Institute has $53 million in the bank. But since 2008, through the Obama administration and the first couple of years of Donald Trump, the Sundance Institute has taken $4 million on federal grants. They can't make the argument they need the money. Same with the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. In our report, we detail just how much money flows to the Kennedy Center on grants, and it doesn't come out of the National Endowment of the Arts. It comes out of the Department of Education. Last year, an $8 million grant flowed to the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
And then Kennedy Center also got part of the Paycheck Protection Program. What, $50 million?
Well, Pelosi wanted to deliver $50 million. They ended up getting cut back to $25 million out of the Paycheck Protection Program.
So, these organizations, I'm looking, James is saying it's time to open all the books up and hold them all accountable. And that's absolutely right. Openthebooks.com, doing really the layman's work of auditing what is going on, trying to bring that transparency light to all of us taxpayers that I don't know how to access all of that. So, Adam, they can go to openthebooks.com. We'd love for you to sign up for our regular newsletters, our email blasts, like us on Facebook, please. And of course, be here every Thursday at 6 o'clock because we're going to be previewing something new, interesting, and mind-blowing related to the fiscal irresponsibility of Washington, Adam.
So stay engaged on our Facebook page. And when you're at it, just come over to openthebooks.com. Hit the donate button, $30, it's $1 a day. If you like these rip-off of the week, just give $30 on a monthly basis. It'll make a big difference to our auditors. More donations equal more investigations. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's Rip-Off of the Week.
See you next Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern.